I'm Tom Baker, this is Chasing Cars, and today we're talking about Land Cruiser 300 prices, which have skyrocketed in Australia on the back of a lack of supply. The first 500 cars that Toyota brought down under certainly haven't satisfied demand. If you want to beat the waiting list, you're going to be paying a lot more than drive-away prices. The Land Cruiser 300 launched here in Australia in October 2021 amidst a perfect storm of factors that are making it hard for Toyota Motor Corporation Australia, or TMCA, to get enough of them. Even though Australia is a key market for the full-fat Land Cruiser, they just can't get cars to bring here. They're not building them quick enough. We've all seen stories about wait times for Japanese customers extending up to 4 years for a Land Cruiser 300. For Aussies, it's more like 12 to 24 months. You can let us know down below in the comments if you're in negotiations right now and what kind of wait time you've been told to expect. But the net effect of all of this is that if you want to beat those queues, there are people selling their lightly used second-hand Land Cruiser 300 examples on the private market. And there are also dealers selling demonstrator cars and also lightly used units if you want to beat that 12 to 24 month plus wait time. But of course, you're going to have to pay for the privilege, up to 33% more than drive-away pricing for certain variants. And it might actually shock you which Land Cruiser 300 trims are attracting the biggest markups. But before I reveal what Aussies are being asked to pay for a lightly used version of each of the 6 grades of Land Cruiser 300, let's remind ourselves of how we got to this point with a bit of a potted history of the Land Cruiser for the last few years, because anyone who's a fan will know that the end of 200 series production saw massive prices for the last examples of that car, from everything from the GX through to the Sahara Horizon, which was like a last of the line special edition of the 200 series, which of course saw the end of the twin turbo diesel V8, which a lot of people already miss, with the 6-cylinder being put under the bonnet of the new 300 series. Well, people were paying up to 200 grand for the 200 series Sahara and Sahara Horizon at the end there, and it was hoped that the arrival of the 300 series would start to put some downward pressure on the prices of a full-fat Land Cruiser. Well, that hasn't really worked because there's simply too few of them. A lot of the cars have ended up in WA, not many have gone to small territories like the NT and the ACT, and there's been a sprinkling of examples that have gone to New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia and Queensland. I haven't seen any in Tasmania myself. We've been trawling through the classifieds at Chasing Cars this week, pulling together some data for this video. Now, 500 cars just doesn't go into how many people have put deposits down, let alone expressions of interest. And dealers were given 1 or 2 demonstrators of the Land Cruiser 300, and Toyota Australia told the dealers, well, you can sell these demos if you want, but we're not going to be able to replace them. So we have seen some dealers decide to make a buck by selling their demos at market prices, which are a lot higher than Toyota's official drive-away prices. Other people got in the queue early, got lucky, got an early delivery of their car, and they either now don't want it, circumstances have changed, or simply they're out to make a profit and they're offloading their vehicle for you to buy if you can afford that. So what are we talking? Well, apart from the base GX, of which we were only able to locate one currently on sale in Australia, there is a decent number of examples of every other variant of the Land Cruiser available on the market, from the workhorse GXL to the semi-luxurious VX, the premium M Sahara, and then the dual range toppers, the Sahara ZX, which is kind of on-road focused, and the uber cool, rugged and ready GR Sport. And it's the GR Sport that is commanding the highest prices. Even though the Sahara ZX is actually a few $100 more expensive than the GR Sport drive away, the ZX just isn't attracting the same attention as the GR Sport. And in some ways that makes sense. The GR Sport is the best setup out of the box for off-roading. So we were able to find 11 GR Sport examples for sale currently in Australia. The average asking price of those vehicles was $190,000. Now, the drive-away price here in New South Wales for a GR Sport is $147,608. So that's a markup of 29%. And keep in mind, not all of those cars are 0-kilometre cars. In fact, the average Ks on a GR Sport currently for sale is 800. So generally, someone's already spent a weekend touring in the car. They're not brand new, and yet you're copping a 42 grand markup, 29% markup on drive-away price. Let me know down below in the comments if you think paying $42,000 to beat the queue makes sense. Next up is the Sahara ZX. Well, this spec does double billing with the GR Sport at the top of the Land Cruiser 300 lineup in Australia, but it actually has the smallest markups. Let me know down below why you think that is. Is it just that the on-road focused ZX with its body kit isn't exactly what Aussies want? Either way, it's still a fairly substantial markup. It's 25%. So for reference, the Sahara ZX costs $148,658 drive away if you were to walk into a Toyota dealer and put your money down, get in the queue and be waiting potentially years for the car. The average asking price in Australia right now for a Sahara ZX is $186,000, 25% markup, or about 37 grand more than drive away price. That brings me on to the Sahara, which is a very popular specification. You're getting a lot of those primo features of the Sahara ZX, but you don't get the body kit. So it's got better approach and departure angles, and it looks a bit more unassuming. It's not going to stand out as much on the road as the ZX. And of course, some people like the Land Cruiser because it gives you understated luxury and touring capability, particularly here in Australia. Well, the average markup on a Sahara is 28%. Average asking price is 180 grand. And as a reference, the drive-away price in New South Wales is $140,678 on a Sahara. Then comes the VX. There's actually the highest number of Land Cruiser 300s for sale in Australia right now are the VX, which I drove recently myself. It's definitely a good halfway house. Drive-away price on that car is $122,618, but people are being asked to pay, on average, $156,000, which is a markup of 27%, or about $33,000 right now. Do you think the VX is worth that much? Let me know down below. But it's actually the workhorse GXL, which is commanding easily the highest markup of any Land Cruiser 300 in Australia. We were able to find 7 for sale. The average asking price on that car is $146,000. Remembering that the GXL still has cloth seats, it's not meant to be a luxury car. Now, that's a markup of 33% over and above the New South Wales drive-away price of $109,606 for the GXL. Now, there's only one GX on the private market in Australia right now, so not good enough data to talk about the markups on that car as any kind of a trend. Now, big caveat, remember that almost all of these vehicles that are currently for sale on the second-hand market don't actually include your stamp duty and your other transfer fees. So at the top end, we're talking about another $10,000 worth of fees there. So that would actually extrapolate those markups even further, but those kinds of fees really do differ from state to state, so I've largely left that out of my analysis today. But either way, no matter how you look at it, it's a $30,000 to $45,000 fee to beat the waitlist on a Land Cruiser 300. I'm very keen to know whether you think that's worth it. It may well be. My intention in today's video isn't to come out here and slam people for moving on their secondhand or demo examples. That's capitalism. That's the free market. Toyota has not brought enough of the Land Cruiser 300 to Australia to deal with these price hikes. So people are asking buyers to pay a much higher fee. That's how it works. My question is it worth it? Should Toyota be doing something about this? Are you prepared to pay this much money, or are you going to wait? Or are you going to buy a Nissan Patrol? Let me know. While you're here, down below the video, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and as always, thank you for watching Chasing Cars.